Hello, this is Mr. Swigert. I'm giving you the first section here on the basics of logic and just about a 15-minute segment here. So we're going to start. Logic is a word we use a lot and people talk about it a lot, but they rarely study it anymore. It used to be studied in school all the time. If you remember in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, when Lucy and, not Lucy, but Susan and Peter go in to talk to professor, he says, logic, why don't they teach logic in these schools anymore? That was about 70 years ago, but they used to. But anyway, logic is the art of proper thinking. That's the way I like to think about it. It's the art of proper thinking. Proper is a little bit more than just accurate. It does involve character as well as intelligence. And logic does involve character, I believe. Most people probably want it, but I think it does. Anyway, so there are basic types of logic, and we can't get into all five of these. We're just going to look at the first two, and the second one less than the first one, a lot about the first one. But these are the basics for the others. There's informal, formal, quantification, modal, and Boolean. And modal is kind of what I'm going to refer to later as fuzzy logic. So and the reason I bring this up is we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg here, very little. So keep that in mind, okay? So here's the most fundamental concept. S is P. This is a claim. It says a subject is a predicate, or you're predicating something about the subject. And this is the most fundamental thing of a sentence. It's that you have a object, a verb, and a subject in the sentence, and everything we say is really a claim of some kind or another. Now we accept them as true just by the fact that, like me, I'm talking right now, and I've made a number of claims, technical claims, but you accept them because I'm the professor. And so, or you accept your friends' claims because you believe your friends. But some claims are false, and the relationship of claims is basically what logic is all about. The relationship of claims. Okay, so S is P. Technically, as a subject is a predicate. That sounds kind of silly. The subject is the doer of the verb, or what the verb is describing, or who the verb is describing. And a predicate is an attribute or an action of the subject. So, like the dog is a Labrador. Dog is the subject, and Labrador is the predicate. And it's what we would call a predicate nominative. There are predicate adjectives and predicate nominatives. Okay. So there are four types of sentences, actually five. I need to redo that. We have questions, exclamations, commands, nonsense, which are just words put together that don't really mean anything, and then indicative, or a statement, or what I call a claim. Claims are just sentences that say something about the state of affairs, something about reality that we believe to be true. And it could be a claim of existence, it could be a claim of ethics, it could be a claim of beauty, but usually it's a claim of just the way things are. And the sky is blue. That's a claim. We all accept it, but it's a claim. Okay, we're saying that the sky is blue. We're claiming that the sky is blue. All right. So claim is a predication, and you can say no, it isn't. Yes, it is. Now don't start that again. What I'm trying to point out here is that claims have a value. Okay. Claim is to say something about something. That's simply what it is, to say something about something. In Greek, it's kategorizo, and that's actually the same word as accuse or prosecute for a crime. So what's the same about them? Well, we're claiming something about a subject. We're actually accusing it of being something, if you want to put it that way. But accuse, of course, has a negative context. But you kind of get the idea. We're accusing someone of being a criminal, and we're accusing a subject of having certain attributes or certain kind of traits or being a certain thing. So that's why the word's used in both cases. Okay, so we have to think about this stuff. This is thinking. Logic involves thinking, and as I said, it's proper thinking. It's the relationship of claims. It's the proper relationship of claims. And bad logic is the improper relationship of claims. All right? To categorize is to put something into a category. Here, I've got Fluffy as a cat, and my claim is Fluffy is a Labrador. Well, that's a false claim. Fluffy is not a Labrador, so that's a false claim. But by categorizing, and notice I have a cat for categorizing, you're putting a subject into a category or saying something in that category about that. So here it's a false claim because of all the Labradors, Fluffy's not one of them, right? So we can't say Fluffy is a Labrador. But we could say Fido is a Labrador if Fido is a dog. Okay. Or we could say here we're accusing this man of being a pirate. And so based on the way he's dressed and the fact he has a monkey on his shoulder, I'm surprised he has a monkey, not a parrot, that he is a pirate. He goes in this category of pirates. All right. This guy right here, the way he's dressed, goes in the category of pirates. And it could be a guy dressed up to go to a party, but still, he's trying to be a pirate, look like a pirate, so he's in the category of pirates. So we would say he is a pirate. There are two types of predicates. I mentioned this earlier. You have a predicate adjective. So think of the sentence, the cat is fluffy. And then predicate nominative, my cat is fluffy. And I've capitalized F because we're saying that's the cat's name. And, excuse me. But you might say, but the cat's Siamese. That's not a fluffy cat. Well, you could challenge my claim. Sure. But right now I just want you to see that fluffy is fluffy. I think, anyway, Fluffy, my cat, is a fluffy cat. So this is a predicate nominative, the name, and predicate adjective, something about it. You're describing it. It's an adjective, a fluffy cat. But a claim is either true or false. It has the value of being true or being false. So we call this bivalence. Two values, by value, bivalence. And most of us would say that a Siamese is not fluffy. So the claim my cat is fluffy is not true, therefore it is false. But wait, some of you may say Siamese can be fluffy. It depends. This is where logic gets fuzzy. And there's a category called fuzzy logic, and it's an approach to variable processing that allows for multiple possible truth values to be processed through the same variable. Well, we're not talking about fuzzy logic. You got to get basic logic down before you can go into fuzzy logic. But notice it's kind of denying the bivalence of claims here with fuzzy logic, or at least the vagueness of claims. But that's what it's about. But we're not getting into that. But it was just there for a joke. So bivalence says claims are true or false by verification. If I made the claim it's raining outside, you would look outside. You verify it. How about a triangle has three sides? That's analysis. That's in the definition. Commonplace, the sky is blue. We all agree. We don't really need to challenge that. And self-report, I do not feel well. Okay, that's how you feel. You're claiming that. But saying I am sick is different. That's a thing the doctor determines. And that's sort of like a verification. Okay? But this is the way we say claims are true or false based on these things. We really don't challenge people's self-reports, but we may challenge whether it's, raining outside, or we may challenge things like that and say they're false. So claims also have context, and if I were to say the sentence, dogs ate my homework, what do I mean? Well, to put it in claim form, we'd say dogs are homework eaters, which sounds kind of weird, but that's what you do logically, put it in claim form. Well, how many dogs? Well, all the dogs? No. Some dogs don't like homework. Did some dogs eat your homework, or did your dog eat your homework? Well, if it's just dogs ate my homework, it's probably some dogs, not all dogs, but some dogs ate my homework. But if you were to make the claim dogs are canines, all dogs then, because every dog's a canine. But not all canines are dogs. There are foxes, there are wolves, there are coyotes. And if you're just talking about your dog, then it's all my dog ate the homework logically, okay? But no cats ate my homework, and that's a negative statement. And we'll see how these relate. Remember, logic is the relationship of claims, okay? Claims have four main categories. We say all S is P, some S is P, no S is P, and some S is not P. And these are related together. And I did this chart here. And the all is called an A statement. The some is called an I statement. The some is not is called an O statement. And the some is called an E statement. The reason they're given those letters is the negatives come from the Latin nego, E-O, and the affirmatives come from the Latin affirmo, A-I. That's where the letters come from, okay? So a universal affirmative is an A statement. These two circles here represent all A statements, all possible A statements. And this line here is going under them. Those are the A statements, okay? These over here are the O statements. These down here are the I statements. They go all the way over to here, and these are the E statements, okay? An A statement, some S is P here, okay? All S is P. And here, same thing, all S is P, but there's a big difference between those two claims, isn't there? Here, we're saying something like all bachelors are unmarried men. It's kind of, or all triangles have three sides. It's kind of analytical. Could be more than analytical, but we're saying something like that. Here, we're saying something like all dogs are canines. All dogs are canines, but not all canines are dogs. See that? It's different than over here. And you got to kind of catch this sometimes, because if you don't, sometimes it could allow for bad logic or fallacy or invalidity. This is different over here. Some S is P. All P is S, but some S is P. That's why it's under over here with this line. Same thing here, some S is P. Different way of looking at it, though. But here, it's no S is P because they don't overlap. There's no inside each other, okay? So these colors, the red's negative and the blue is affirmative, okay? And the top, well, not really. The A is universal. The E is universal. We're talking about everything in that category when we do that. But there's some also, and some is not. Now, where you have a space and the lines on the same level, it's called a contradiction. Okay, so these two contradict each other. These two contradict each other. But A and E do not contradict each other. They're called contraries. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Where the lines are over each other, they can both be true at the same time. Okay, here, here, and here. They can both be true at the same time. And that's actually one of the definitions of the middle here. This is a subcontrary. It's contrary because they're red and they're blue, not contradiction. That's on the same line. And they're contrary, though, because they're red and they're blue, but they can be true at the same time. A subcontrary can be true at the same time. And you got to remember that the statement some S is P does not imply some S is not P. That doesn't imply that. It just allows for both of those statements to be true at the same time. So I'll move on now to the next video to take it from here. There's a little overlap because of the timing, but I wanted to give this one another go and be a little bit clearer than I was on the first one.